Hey everybody, so welcome in this new episode of Juno Live. Actually, already the last episode for this year. Just checking as always that the stream worked, looks like it's alright. If there is a sound issue, as always, you told me. I hope not. And yeah, so for today, I actually have two topics. One is the redesign of the navigation in the console, which I did last weekend, and which I want you to present that, and gonna want your feedback. And the second one is something I'm currently working on, which is Auto-Topup. So it's gonna be a really early sneak peek because it will require a few more weeks of work, I guess, but we are getting there. So without further ado, let's have a look. So here you see that's production, and what I want to show you is a new navigation that happens locally because I have not yet deployed it. So let's go to my local environment here, and I'm gonna create a new identity. And once it's loaded, I will create a new satellite. Alright, because I don't have some, and here already. So I'm just gonna pick this one on production. So you see that's the current UI in production, and this will be the new experience. So the difference that you can notice, I'm not sure if I can do that. Yes, you see here in the menu I only have what's about the satellite, and newly here I'm gonna have everything that is currently on production hidden in the users menu. So the reason is that I actually always wanted to move those, but on the other side I didn't know how to move them, because while this belongs to one satellite, that belongs to all satellites, kind of, right? So that's why I moved them there with a small space, and if you select your satellites, nothing changes. But if you select, for example, the analytics, then the menu collapses and you only have the analytics. Same for monitoring, your mission control, and the wallet. And yeah, so I think that's one change. That way you don't have always to go here. For example, if you want to go there to access your analytics, you can just jump in and right from one canister you can, or a satellite, you can jump to your analytics. At the top, all the navigation for your wallet and mission control and so on, that did not change. You still have those information. The things that change a bit too is that if you are on the launch pad and you select your mission control, of course you're gonna jump then with the menu here instead of here jumping to a page without menu. And from here you see here now it's launchpad. So if you, because you don't have a satellite selected, and you go back to launchpad. I think it's useful because otherwise those features are hidden, kind of. If you are like a new developer, you do not necessarily know that there is monitoring, for example, and that's gonna become super important, because this is the new topic I'm currently working on. Because while you can get an email right now if your satellites, mission control, and whatever are done on cycles, I think it would be nice to be able to not care about it and just have things that are top-headed automatically. But before going there, maybe a minor change to finish the topic of the navigation. You also notice that here on production it's always Juno Console in your tab. So if you have zillion tabs open, it's just Juno Console, right? And I changed that, and here now you have always like the page. If you are in a satellite, you have the satellite's name, and then yeah, Juno Console. So you see now you have authentication demo because that's the name of the satellites, right? And storage and so on. If you go analytics, then it's analytics, mission control. Yeah, it's a small things, and I think it's useful. And I removed the social link here because you don't necessarily need that on the console, right? And the light off, light on has moved to the preferences here, because here you really have what's related to your developer preference on the console. And at the bottom instead you have no, you're gonna have, because again it's not prod, you're gonna have a link to the documentation, and here you will also always have a link to the release notes. So yeah, it's kind of handy in my opinion. Right, so we started in light mode, so let's start here. So that's for the navigation, and give it a try when it's live, and then you tell me if there is any modification or improvement that needs to be done. But from my first feeling, I kind of think like it's handy. At least one day afterwards, I feel like it's easier to just move around. Right, so as I told you, right now, if we are in production, what we can do is I can go, you see, I was already lost. I can go to monitoring, and then in the monitoring, I can activate it, put my email, a cycle threshold, and then get warned when one of those goes under. But the issue is, first is right now I'm having trouble with Google, and not all the mail goes through all the times. And the second issue is, yeah, but what happens if you miss the email? I mean, then it goes down. So that's why I started implementing that Auto-Topup features. And the ID is the following. If we go, let's go to IC draw. So can I clear things here? I'm just gonna delete everything. So you already have a mission control, and your mission controls control satellites, right? Satellites. Here we have your mission control, and maybe you also have like the analytics, which is an orbiter. That's the name I'll give it, like technical. So we already have that, and in addition, the mission control is your wallet, okay? And here we have cycles. Here we have cycles. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna copy it, but I guess you get it. Like everywhere we have cycles. But what we also have is, here we also have ICPs. So what we can do is we can add a timer in your wallet that hopefully itself does not consume too much cycles, hopefully. And for example, let's say every hour, this one gonna checks according some strategy if this satellite or this satellite or this satellite or the orbiter is under a certain threshold. So let's put the name. So here let's put it. Let's like that. B, C, and then you're gonna do some logic like is smaller than ZT cycles, you know what I mean? Is B, etc., etc. And if one of those cycles that are observed are under a certain threshold, what you can do is say, do I have enough cycles? And if it has enough cycles, you can say, okay, I'm gonna send, maybe, I don't know, like let's say T cycles, that way this one goes under the threshold again. And let's say this one reach a point where it has 0 T cycles, but this one needs T cycles. So what you can do is like, but let's transform ICP into cycles, and then let's use these newly minted cycles to top up this one. Of course, then here you will need to have cycles, ICP, but we can do that. And one thing we should do is, if we use that one to monitor the other one, this one should kind of, I don't know if I can make this, yeah. This one should also monitor itself, because if this one fails, then the other one will fail too, right? And that's what I'm currently implementing. And to automate all the cycles and monitoring and so on, I started using a library that the Definity Foundation has recently open sourced, which is called CanFound. And that's what it does. It's like automatic cycle management, periodic balance, and so on. And you can also define strategies, and it's written in Rust, which works well since we have a Rust code base. And if we have a look, it's, I don't know if there is like a simple example. Yes, you see, you create a manager. On the manager, you tell how often you want the job to run. So like I say, 1 hour or something. You define a strategy where you say, so what's the minimal amount of cycles, how much cycle should be added. Then you give the option, then you register, and so on and so on. And that's the library I use. And I started implementing this. So again, it's super early. Means it's not finished, even UI, but just that you get a glimpse, or is that the right word? A glimpse? Yeah, I guess just an idea of what we are going to try to do. As you see here, when I logged in, here I already have like that monitoring disabled. I've added that warning, but I'm not sure the final solution will be that much up in the face. Maybe not, but I think in some ways we should encourage people to set up the monitoring. And my idea is that, yeah, myself, I have multiple satellites. Even here I have multiple satellites and mission control, so I don't want to go through all of them one after the other to set a strategy and so on and so on. I just want to have like a batch. So maybe ultimately we can have like some fine-tuning per satellites, but I just, so yeah, it's maybe handy at first to have like one strategy. So I have to redo that, but if we go to setup, also ignore this, I will have to rework this, but here we have a new section that give me list if my mission control is monitored, if satellites is monitored. And I've started implementing a new wizard to put those monitoring together, so let's try that. So here what we're gonna do is I start the wizard, and the wizard lists all the satellites and orbiter I would have. So I mean, where was I here? So in that case, it lists all those. Okay, right. So I select those that I want, and then, as I told you, we want to have how many cycles and how many we want to add. So let's say, for example, I want a threshold of as soon as it gets under 0.5 the cycles, I want to try to top up with 0.1. And if I continue, as I told you, here we want to have that one monitored. So in my opinion, we should monitor the one that monitor the other. So here you can choose to basically either use the same strategy or define another one, in the sense that maybe you don't want to have like those 0.5 that we just saw, but maybe something else. So you can say, so here I said yes to use the same, but if I say no, here I can put like, you see, another strategy. And I continue, and then here I'm gonna have like a breakdown. That's what will be done for my mission control. That's what will be done for my modules, and I apply. And yeah, so it doesn't do much right now. That's basically what it does. And then here it refresh and say, your stuff are monitored. And now what I'm currently doing is improving a bit the UIs, what we're gonna do in this call. Then we're gonna need to implement the stop function, and I will need to implement some tests. But once we have that, I think we're gonna be able to cut a new release where this function will be shipped. No, I forget something. I'm gonna also have to integrate the current monitoring within that strategy, because when you opt in the monitoring, then we start collecting information like every hour, what's your cycle balance, what's your memory balance, and so on. So that way we can display some information. So right now there is just one breakdown about the cycles, but technically we could also display like a breakdown of your memory. That would be nice. So that's things that I still need to add to. So yeah, couple of things, but it's already a good start. And you see, we by the way, we see that that it's running. And if we'll have a look of how it's implemented, maybe I made two new endpoints for your mission control. So there will be monitoring. There will be a start monitoring and a stop monitoring, and each one gets a config. And in the configuration, I made it so that maybe in the future we won't have other types of monitoring. So I already had like that kind of approach where we have like one entity that contains option, so that, I don't know, like maybe in some points we want to have memory monitoring, like that you want to do something if your smart contracts reach that much memory. I don't know yet what other things, but yeah, let's see. And here you see you can define for each of them what's the strategy with minimum cycles and font cycles, right? Alright, so since it's the last Juno Live, I propose that we don't work on the application that we have built, but that we're gonna work on implementing this function, because at the end of the day we are using that too, no? So before the call, I actually started working on a progression, because I kind of want to always implement now that, you know, that recent experience we have is with these different steps. I kind of want to have that a bit everywhere, as soon as there is like 1 or 2 steps or something. And in the monitoring here, it's actually 2 steps, because one is applying and restart. One is applying the new strategy and starting it, and the other is like reloading the information in the front end, because we want to display if something is enabled or not. By the way, yeah, you see this one or this one. So that's what I was doing. So what I was doing is I have a function here to which I pass a callback. That way that callback can be used on the UI part to make the progression. So that's the function that does the set, and that's the execute. And in the execute, you see it's always in progress, success, or error. So let's do that. So the only piece that was missing is to use to update the UI. So I'm gonna go in the snapshot modal, right? And I'm gonna see where it's used. So blah 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 blah. There. So if we progress, we use that. So let's try in progress. Okay. Tick. And I need a segment. Ah, that's interesting. Why then? Because the segment is used. Okay. So we're gonna create a component to display the progression, which we're gonna call monitoring, progress monitoring. Okay. Monitoring. And here we're not gonna take that. We're gonna have a monitoring strategy progress. That's the entity I created before. And we don't gonna care about this neither. So here we good. I remove that. Then okay. So the steps we have: preparing, okay, we have creating, exclude that, stopping, create or restore. So create and start, or what do I call that? Create and start, yeah. Monitoring, and we have reload. So let's call it reload. So when we want to asset the sign, we're gonna have the steps, which starts with preparing, correct? And we need So preparing execution. So I go to monitoring and I'm gonna add like a label for that we're gonna call. So that's preparing it's gonna be fine like that. So here, and with this command here I generate the keys for the translation key. So here we're gonna do monitoring. Okay, then as a next step we're gonna have this one, which we're gonna call create and start, and we're gonna use the existing applying strategy on starting monitoring, because that's a step. And then finally we're gonna have reload, and that we're gonna say, let's call it reloading settings. Super. So here we're gonna have this reload settings. Super. So we remove that one, and now we have the steps, which are nice. This is a bit complicated, I think, but let's try. So when the progress kicks in, we take the what is it called? Create and start and reload. Okay, so step preparing. Okay, then here we have the step create and start. So we're gonna take this one, and if the step is equals to monitoring strategy progress attack, if this is the step that is in progress, we can map the type. Otherwise we have the same type. So basically each time we're gonna make a step, this one will be called. So for each step we should then define what's the status to be displayed. So here we're gonna have reload, so it's the same. If the step is reload, then we're gonna map. Otherwise it's the same step. That should work. I should probably gonna do a bit of cleanup, I guess, at some point, but that can work. Okay, so we call that monitoring. So we're gonna go here and go this one, right? Gonna remove this one. No. Tac. Clean up the import. And let's try. So now if I go to setup, doesn't matter. I can, that's the idea is also that I can redo that process as many times as I want, and it's just gonna update the strategy. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yes. Actually, here you see I was too fast. Here it tells me you already have a strategy. Do you want to keep it? so I can also update it if I want. This way. And if I apply, that's nice. That was too fast. That was too fast. So we're gonna just add a bit of delay for the last step, I think, because otherwise it's just gonna disappear and it's a bit sad. So we're just gonna do set timeout here, and I'm not sure how much what I generally give for timeout. Should we try like that? Is that a bit better? It's a bit fast, but I guess I'm also locally, so once that happens in production, I guess it's gonna be a bit more slow, but it's fine. I mean, just double checking. So when I reload settings, and I reload the satellites and reload the mission control settings, which is also a new endpoint, and I put true. So technically I need to get ICP locally, so I'm gonna get to my wallet, gonna get the ID, and here when I work locally I have like a do I have actually a transfer? Yeah. And you see here I can give my mission control ID or wallet, and after a bit, yeah, I got some. So if I go back to the launchpad and I start another one, we see monitoring is disabled, and if I go to monitoring, here I have one satellite monitoring, one disabled. Of course, I just disabled it. I'm really not used to the new navigation, so I'm gonna also start the analytics. Okay, so if I go here now, I should have one monitored, one disabled, not monitored, which is correct. So I'm gonna apply to these two. And yes, I want to keep. So this one, I'm gonna apply. So this is good. This is not yet reloaded, which is incorrect, because I guess that if I reload here, this one is monitored. So we are good on the UI side, right? So I'm gonna commit this fit on progress for create strategy in UI. Okay, and what's missing is here I got load strategy, load setting, so I guess I need a load orbiter. Does that exist? Almost too easy. So here we need to add load orbiters, which takes same parameter here. So of course. Yeah, that's inconsistent. I will have to make that consistent, because it's a bit annoying if I don't use the same parameters everywhere. So here I'm gonna reload the orbiter, reload orbiter, and that's new code. So here we're gonna call that control. Tac. Okay. And here okay, but actually what I'm gonna do is like this. Nice. And here super, and here I can it's a bit more I don't know, it's a bit better or not, I don't know. Anyway, so okay, so if we create a new developer account locally, and instead of spinning satellites, we that's interesting. That means that now I don't have access here to my mission control, and I'm not sure if it's that a good thing. I will have to, because on mainnet, if you sign in and you don't have a satellite yet, if you open that menu, you have mission controls and analytics and so on and so on, and now we don't have it anymore. But it's not too bad, I guess. Maybe I should just add the link to the mission control and analytics. Well, that's maybe overthinking. I'm not sure. To some extension, maybe that page can also be integrated with the menu. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is, because I know the URL, I will come here and I'm just gonna create the analytics. Alright, so here, not disabled. If I go to monitoring and I set up things, analytics, orbiter is monitored, and indeed if I go to the analytics overview, monitoring is enabled. So yeah, cool. It's the format. Yeah, I'm a bit should we have the link on the first page, like if you are here having the same. Yeah, maybe not be too bad, I guess. We can maybe do that. So let's go to main. And here I don't have the monitoring anymore, but I have all the things I've done this weekend. And what we're gonna do is, I guess that's called user, right? Okay. And here, if I go in the history, I should have, yeah, mission control, icon wallet, analytics, monitoring. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call that yeah, I'm just gonna put it here. So we had those here. So let's import things. This one has been removed too. So show all affected file. No, I have it here. So I should be able to import it. That's weird. Satellite store. Show diff. That's just maybe just my imagination. So satellite store, and we need this one. Seems correct. What does it say? Ah, right. Okay, so if I click here now, I got all the menu. But so yeah, I can navigate here. I can navigate there. But once I'm here, I don't want to have them anymore. It's really just like for that page. So do I have an option already that tells me let's display that until I get one satellite. And then I'm fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call that new developer, and we're gonna do like satellites loaded. Should have that, I think, now or not. Okay, so I take this one. Okay, so that's a derived store that tells me if the satellites are now loaded. So once the satellites are loaded and I get at least one satellite. Okay. We even gonna do something like let's say if not loaded and if equals 0, that's a new developer. User as a new developer and want to show all links in the user popover, that way the user can navigate anyway. Okay, and here we're gonna do tag, and we're gonna like this. Okay, good. So now I have everything, right? No, because I did it wrong. What did I did wrong? All right, so here I got all the links. So now I'm gonna create because I already have an orbiter, I guess. Okay, so I need some fonts again. All right, so I have all the links. I create the satellites. Super. If I go back to the launch pad, now I have the satellites. That's already there. That's there. And here I don't have those anymore. But here I'm not blocked because I can go to my mission control or I can jump to the analytics. Maybe we can add like a... We can even add like... Would that be fun to add like... You know like what I mean? Like if we added like also... If we added also like the wallet and the monitoring there. Maybe we can have a try. So, but that's for... So here I'm gonna create a pull request. So we're gonna call that display links for Mindev. Display links for Mindev. Okay, now I was thinking like it's on the launch pad, right? So if on the launch pad here you see we have the cockpit. If in that cockpit we would be fancy, like what would that look like? Okay, I think something like that, you know what I mean? And then maybe I don't know. I don't want that. I don't know if that would be too much information. I don't know if that would be too much information, because here it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, so that's So this one has grid column 113, we can do 17 maybe, and then this one we do I do 713. And this one the same, do 1 7, and this one we would do 7 13, and then here we would have, I don't know, like monitoring, and here we would have like wallet, something like that. Okay. Maybe it's too much, I don't know. I will think about it. Or let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. Yeah. Right, so I think we're gonna stop here for this year, but starts again in January. I wish you and family already a Merry Christmas, lovely party, I don't know if it's the name, for New Year's Eve, and I hope you have the opportunity to have some holiday and take some time to have a nice break. So see you soon.